share with you certain terminology which is used in imports. What is the meaning of that? Like definitions of some of the items. Some of you will know about some of these terms, but many of terms will not be known to you. So it will make things easier for you to understand. Like for example, what is the definition of import? What is the official definition of imports? Section 2, subsection 23 of Customs Act defines import as import means bringing goods into India from a place outside India. Simple, very simple. But this is a very simple definition, but there are other terms which are not as simple. Again, this also, this is also a very big thing. Many times, what is the meaning of importer? Suppose somebody is bringing some personal goods, is he an importer? So again, there is ambiguity that who is the importer by definition. For customs purpose, now the word is customs purpose. The party who makes or on whose behalf an agent or broker makes the import declaration and who is liable for the payment of duties, if any, on the imported goods is an importer. Normally, this party is named either as the consignee in the shipping document or as the buyer in the export receipt. For custom purpose, he is the importer. If these conditions do not meet, he is not an importer. And legally, that person should have IEC code number. Then only he is the importer. And one more thing, the person has to file the import declaration, which is actually called bill of entry. Bill of entry is nothing but the declaration to the customer. Like for example, shipping bill is the declaration for the customer purpose for exports. For imports, the declaration is called bill of entry. What is the definition of, what is the meaning of import tariff schedule or import tariff? Printed schedule of duties or taxes levied on goods as they enter into India, they are called import tariff schedule. It divides all goods into major and subgroups for their correct and easy identification for charging customs duty. Different duties are there. And recording the data for statistical purposes. And these duties are called tariffs. And this is more or less, it is categorized as HS system, harmonized system. International system is there. It is also called ITC, International Trade Classification, or it is also called ITC, Indian Trade Classification. But more or less you will find they are all similar. And 180 countries WTO, they all use HS system, harmonized system. What is import credit? Loan facility extended by a bank in the buyer's country. That is called import credit. Like for example, if the LC is a usance LC, will it be called import credit? Suppose you are a buyer, you open a LC, which is a usance LC, like 180 days. So will it be called import credit or export credit? No. Because what is happening? This loan is provided by actually the exporting country. Because usance LC means payment will be made after 180 days. So it's on loan basically. So loan is being provided by the export country. So it is not a import credit, it is export credit. Right? But suppose by a bank in the buyer's country, suppose there is some organization or some government agency which provides loan to the person who is exporting the goods, right? So that will be import credit, right? But the question is why somebody in the buyer's country will provide a loan facility? What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this? Why somebody will provide a loan? What can be the situations where this kind of loan is being provided, and why somebody will provide it?
Transit time from export to import country is increasing or decaying or taking time.
The promotion of their goods.
Main reason is the main reason is that it will help it will help the country to export goods. But normally the case is that a rich country will do it. They will provide this to promote the goods from a particular country, so which is a poor country or a developing country. I'll tell you, there is one facility, I don't know whether you know about it. Like suppose I want to export goods to Australia, right? And buyer is a very good buyer. Now what happens? What will the kind of question which will come in the buyer's mind? They'll say, okay, you want to supply it, I want to buy it, no problem. But what are the problems? My concern will be that I will supply the goods from India. They will take at least 1 month to reach Australia. But I want my money immediately. Because I am a poor person, I cannot afford to wait for one month, right? So you please open a LC which is side LC. Now what the concern of the buyer will be? The concern of the buyer will be that if I open a side LC, payable at site, you will ship the goods, you will get the money. Minimum time is 30 days. It can be 45 days, it can be 60 days. So my money is blocked for one month, 1.5 months or 2 months. So he will be disgraced, right? So now there are two methods of getting this done. There are two methods.
On behalf of this LC, they get the loan from the bank.
Yeah, one possibility is that the buyer will get a loan because the money of the buyer is blocked. So buyer's money will not be blocked. The money will be blocked for the person who is providing the loan. And why he is doing? For two reasons. Either is a rich country and poor country, or it can also be that company makes money out of doing this. And actually that is a very common case. What happens? What is happening nowadays? Very good quality buyers, they never open LC. They'll say we will not open LC. On their behalf, there are other private financial institutions who open the LC. There are other companies who open the LC on behalf of the buyer. And why they open the LC? Because they know if the purchase order is there, indent is there of a particular company, for example in Australia, which is a very important company, money will be paid when the goods reach. So what they will do? They will open the LC to me in India. Buyer is also happy, right? LC is opened, I am also happy because money is paid. And whose money is brought? This second company, financial company in Australia, the money is blocked, but he will charge for it.
Yes. Very minimum charges.
Minimum charges.
Yes.
No, they are making money out of it. They will charge interest plus some commission. But there is one more thing. Now, these companies are doing it regularly, right? And they have a tie-up with some banks. So they will pay very minimum charges to these banks. They save a lot of money in LC charges, other charges for the bank. So it becomes a very efficient way of doing it. And it is becoming very, very common. Like for example, you are supplying goods to Walmart in USA. Now Walmart issues you an indent. You need not ask for the LC from Walmart. There are 5-6 other companies who are ready to open LC. Right? And one more thing. You as a exporter from India will tell Walmart that you did not open LC. You just give the order. We'll get the LC from somewhere else. And Walmart will be very happy because he's not paying anything extra. His money is not blocked. What you require from Walmart is just the indent or purchase order or whatever it is. And you can also have a long-term contract with Walmart. 1 year, 2 year contract. And shipment-wise LCs can be opened by a third party. But these are all called import credit. Because this has facilities being provided from the importer's country. In the case of Walmart, it will be US, for example. US. Right? So these companies are okay because they know the credit worthiness of these buyers.
These financial institutions are involved, not the governments.
No, government can be involved. I'll tell you which is the organization. Exim Banks.
Exim Banks. Yes.
You can get this facility from Exim Banks also. If they see the merit in your case. But it depends the situation. Suppose it's very poor country like Bangladesh or Somalia, some countries. So Exim Bank will definitely help because their job is that. They will not do it for commercial purpose. They will do it for the philanthropy or whatever you can say. I mean, that is one of their objective. All the countries have an Exim Bank. Like India also have an Exim Bank. They are all government banks. Their job is to help friendly countries or poor countries like that. But in normal way, they will not do it. Like I'm a commercial businessman from India. I'll want business with government. Why Exim Bank will help? Right? So I will rather go to a private company which also works like a Exim Bank. Right? So they will provide me the import credit. Is that clear? Now what is import license? Permit that allows an importer to bring
Sorry.
Sure.
Exim Bank कब help करते हैं इन्हें?
Exim Bank देखो मैं बताता हूँ आपको. Exim Bank is a promotional bank which promote export and import actually. Right? So one help Exim Bank provides is the exporters, like exporter in India. But that part is already taken care by Government of India. They provide packing credit,
Yes.
pre-shipment credit and post-shipment credit. So actually you don't need the help of Exim Bank, only in some certain rare cases. Like for example, GMR set up a project in Maldives, right? Which is a very typical case. So Exim Bank help will be required in such cases. It's a long term. The packing credit and post-shipment credit will not help because there is no LC part. It's more like there is a contract is there between GMR of India and Maldives government to set up a project. And one more thing, in that project, all the money is being spent by GMR, and the money will come in 20 years using the user fees, UDF, user development fees of the port, right? Airport. So GMR has given the right to charge UDF from the passengers. Now GMR, whatever the investment is being made, Exim Bank of India will help. Why it will help? For two reasons. Maldives is a neighboring country and it's a SAARC country, right? So as a member of SAARC, Exim Bank of India will help. That is one part of it. Second point is, GMR cannot generate that kind of money to set up a project, and it is an export project. The foreign exchange is coming for the country, and it's a typical project where the normal pre-shipment credit and post-shipment credit cannot help. So for this reason also Exim Bank will help. Now third, it is the infrastructure project and long-term project
Yes.
with arbitration of Singapore court, right? So everything is perfect, and it is a deal between the Indian company and the Maldives government. Again, Exim Bank will have. So depending on the merit of the case, Exim Bank will have. But if Exim Bank cannot help, depending on the country, most of the developed countries, they have the parallel financial institutions who does the LC, who does the LC, third parties, and it is very common nowadays. But they do it for renowned companies, right? They do it for the renowned, and they also have advantage, as I told you. They have a very very good relationship with the banks who open the LC, and they're doing it on an everyday basis. So they have got a long-term contact with the bank. So charges are less. So they save a lot of money, and that benefit is passed on to the exporters. Okay, so permit that allows an importer to bring in a specified quantity of certain goods during a specified period, usually 1 year. Normally import licenses are valid for 1 year. Import licenses are employed as means of restricting outflow of foreign exchange. It's one of the control mechanism. Quantitative restriction. It is also called QR, quantitative restrictions. So, which is also under WTO. WTO, it has to be WTO mandated. It has to be WTO compliant. You should have some agreement that you can impose import license. QR has to be WTO compliant.
Okay.
Like rich countries cannot do it. A category countries cannot do it. Europe was doing for the textiles, but they had to stop in 2005 because they were doing under an agreement called multi-fiber agreement. So many countries approached WTO, and after it happened after the formation of WTO under GATT before 1995 when WTO was established, they were manipulating the system to continue with the MFA, multi-fiber agreement. And European countries, which are rich countries, were using import license for getting garments. You remember, you had to purchase the quota from the market to export garments. Now that is nothing but QR, which is against the principles of formation of WTO. So when 1995, it was one of the reasons why WTO was formed, because the countries felt that GATT is being manipulated. And things like garments, you are having an import quota, and who are doing it? European countries, which are rich countries, A category countries. So when WTO came in picture, the first job what they did to abolish multi-fiber agreement in a certain period. So they give a date of 2005. So 2005 multi-fiber agreement was abolished, and A countries do not have any import licensing. So countries like India, which is a developing country, or very poor countries. Poor countries will have a lot of import licenses.
After the expiry of 1 year, we need to take fresh approval.
Fresh.
Yes.
Fresh.
Fresh.
To control entry of dangerous items, that is okay. Dangerous item, even rich countries can do. I mean, that is for a safety purpose. Or radiation, some certain items have got radiation.
Yes.
Some equipments which are radiation. So these, irrespective of countries, A country or B country or C country, WTO will allow import license for certain goods. That is for everybody. All the members of WTO can have import license in certain categories of goods, right? And to protect the domestic industry from foreign competition. Now, this protection of the domestic countries, A countries cannot do. A category. B and C can do. B can do for certain time. They have got certain time period that by that time you have to abolish. And C category countries can continue for a longer time. So WTO will, what the WTO want, that these restrictions should be phased out after a certain period depending on the need. A country do not need, they should abolish immediately. B category countries can abolish say 10 to 15 years depending on item to item. And C categories companies can do it for 20-25 years. Right? And but this thing is not happening all over the world in certain items like agriculture. Actually, I hope you know this. Agriculture and defense. Like we say, Jai Jawan, Jai Kisan. Like it's a very emotional thing. We have to take care of our soldiers and farmers, which is not only true in India; it is true all over the world. So, being a very sensitive issue, WTO is going slow in these two areas: defense and agriculture. So, all these import licensing is applicable to all other items other than defense and agriculture, including subsidies. Like WTO will frown upon any import licensing or subsidies or even incentives. Incentives has to be, like ratified by WTO. I mean, they keep watch, like drawback, all these things. That's why they keep on changing, right? So that is the thing. So protection of industries. Then, what is import restrictions? Methods employed in controlling the volume. This I have already discussed just now. Goods coming into the country, usually to maintain the exchange rate of the country's currency. Also called import controls. The primary import restrictions are import duties, tariffs, or taxes, import licenses, which I just told you, currency restrictions, prohibition that prevents entry of illegal and harmful items. So, again, definition. What is import restrictions? What is import declaration, which I already told you, bill of entry, which you declare. In India, it is called bill of entry. The declaration which you made as an importer to the customs, that is called custom entry for imports made and submitted by an importer or by an agent or a broker in importer's behalf. The general word for this is custom entry, but we call it bill of entry, which we use. In different countries, the names can be different. The generic name is custom entry. What is custom? Sorry. I made a mistake. Actually, import declaration is bill of entry. Now, but what is import declaration? That is the custom entry for imports made and submitted by an importer. And what is custom entry? Custom entry is declaration of information on imported or exported goods prepared by a custom broker on a prescribed form called entry form or duty entry form and submitted to customs. It states classification number, country of origin, description, quantity, CIF value, the estimated amount of duty paid, and all these things. Again, the same thing, bill of entry. Types of custom entry. Now, this is very important. When you file bill of entry, the bill of entry can be of different types. One can be for home consumption, which means for goods to be offered for sale. Right? Do you know the significance of this? That when you file a bill of entry declaring that these goods are to be sold, what does it mean financially? Yeah, the goods which are actually going to be further sold. So you get the benefit of refund of special import duty, special additional duty, SAD, special additional duty, SAD, which is 4%. So you paid, and if your bill of entry is this category, consumption entry, you will get the refund. But the process says that you have to first pay and then you get a refund. Right? So that is the purpose. Second is formal entry. That is required to be covered by an entry bond because its aggregate value exceeds a certain amount. For high value item, when you file a bill of entry, you may have to give a bond for very high value item. There is a certain limit after which, right? Normally that limit is not crossed, so it becomes an informal entry. So informal entry, that is not required to be covered under an entry bond.
So it's kind of a bank guarantee, right?
It's kind of a bank guarantee. You have to provide a bank guarantee because high value item is coming.
Right.
So the problem is that may not be of use to the government of India, for example, if it comes, right? So if you don't claim it, government lose money, right? So what they do, they ask for a bond when you file the bill of entry. Okay, so in transit entry for movement of goods from the port of unloading to the port of destination under a custom bond. These goods are to be actually sold to a third country. So basically what is happening, these goods are coming to India, but they are not going to enter into India. They are not going to enter into DTA, domestic tariff area of India. So they are in transit. Like for example, where as a passenger, when you want to go to European country, suppose you go by Aeroflot. So what will happen? The plane will take off from Delhi airport, will reach Moscow. Then you come out and you are in transit passenger, right? So there is no immigration check. So you go to the other gate, board a different plane and go to a European destination. It is like that. So, but here also you have to file a bill of entry in transit, in transit goods. Unless the goods are not being unloaded at all. That's a different matter. It is possible that the ship is burning, but if it is to be unloaded, it is being unloaded by some Indian party for some reason, right? Or maybe they want to change the packing or they want to do something, right? In the bonded warehouse. That's why, so they have to file the bill of entry. But that bill of entry will be in transit entry. And then mail entry for goods entering through post office or courier services and below a certain value. And personal baggage entry for goods imported as personal baggage. Like suppose you want to import your own car. You have come to India, your car is coming or some other goods are coming by ship. So for that, you have to fill custom entry, bill of lading, bill of entry as a personal bill. Yes.
So there are some standard format for bill of entry, or we can give some any format?
No. There is a standard format.
There is standard format printed on.
And it is online.
It is online.
Online. But in some ports, this online facility is not available. Where there you have to
So
file
there is a
the
heading in the name of the government of India like that. Once we receive the bill of entry,
no bill of entry is available.
after putting the stamps of the custom department.
Bill of entry is just like shipping bill. When you export, you use shipping bill, right? Custom declaration. It is the same thing. So what you do
But the declaration given by the importer,
by the importer?
or that custom department can fill that
No,
bill of entry on their
no.
own
No.
from that bill of lading and commercial invoices coming along with that goods. No.
No. Yes, you're right. The one set of document is already there with the importer. That set of document will be required to be filed along with the bill of entry. But that is not a major issue. The major issue is that you have to declare that your goods are coming. Right? Under this bill of lading, that whatever the number, everything you have to put the bill of lading number and shipment number,
But
whatever.
final bill of entry when we receive,
Yeah.
that is prepared by the custom officials or what?
No. It is your duty.
It is our declaration.
It's your declaration. But it has to be signed by a CHA. Like shipping bill. It has to be signed by a CHA. Because on your behalf, CHA will only deal with the customs. Officially, on paper.
But nowadays we can directly pay the import duty through iGate.
You can pay the import duty. That is okay. But still you require
Bill of entry.
bill of entry and signature of
Will be signed by custom also. Bill of entry.
bill of entry.
Because whenever we receive the goods from the custom department,
You don't get it signed by CHA.
No. We receive bill of entry from the custom
Okay.
department. On their letterhead,
Okay,
like that
okay.
government of India letterhead,
Okay.
everything was mentioned, who was the exporter and that value of goods. We don't give any declaration in case of imports.
This online system is there.
Now, online system is there. What you are doing, that is a declaration.
Signature and all.
Yeah.
That is declaration. Huh? But whatever you are filling,
Yes.
that's the declaration. That's bill of entry. Without bill of entry, how will you get the goods? It's not possible.
No, actually, that's a bill of entry is prepared by that importer. or
Yes,
from
obviously.
the custom department.
You can do it. You can do it there also. They have a facility
CHA is preparing it now on your behalf.
on your behalf. Yes, CHA will do it
CHA
actually.
is doing it.
Now,
But basically, you are doing it.
after preparing that CHA, that it's getting the stamp from the custom department. It is tagged.
Yeah, custom. Yeah, after the goods have reached and the duty has been paid, custom will stamp. But not before that. But CHA, you know what happens in online system? CHA has got a number. So it is digitally signed. He's not doing actually, he's not putting a stamp or like that. It is digital signature, which he is already having because he is a CHA. He is already in the database of customs. So when he enters, the number itself is a, is already assigned to that CHA. So every transaction, every bill of entry is already digitally signed automatically by the CHA. But if you do it manually, then CHA has to put a stamp, he has to sign it everything. Manually also is possible. The format is there. Right? And there also there is the exchange control copy. There also. Like shipping bill. Because RBI should know. RBI should know.
That we have to submit to the bank.
See why you are not filling it is because it's online. And CHA is doing on your behalf. But without that is the main document. It's a communication between you and the custom department.
Mail entry is issued in the case of courier service.
No, in case of mail entries, in case of if the goods are coming by post office.
Post office.
Yeah. Foreign post office, FPU.
Or courier service you are saying.
Or courier, like DHL. Personal baggage entry, transportation and exportation entry for goods passing through a country and to another country. This is a very rare case, but because they are never unloaded, so there is no need to file bill of entry. Warehouse entry. See why this 7 number may be required. Sometimes 7 number. If there is a change of vessel, suppose one vessel has to be changed in a port, right? Then the shipping company will file bill of entry.
Okay.
This 7 number, transportation and exportation entry, will be filed by the shipping company. Because for some reason, technical or whatever it is, they have to unload the goods and transfer it to another vessel. If it is not transferred to other vessel, then there is no need. Then, warehouse entry for goods stored in bonded warehouse, which I told you yesterday also, high sea sales. But high sea sales can be done before arrival also. Right? But if it is arrived and you don't want to pay import duty, then you can do high sea sale. But if high sea sale is done to a third country, then you will save the duty. But if it is high sea sales are done to the domestic buyer, then ultimately duty has to be paid. Normally you will not like to put it in bonded warehouse because the cost of import duty will remain same, but your bonded warehouse charges will increase. It's like this.
It's depend upon the delivery charges also. Like
Yeah.
the delivery charges are high and
It varies. Yeah, you're right.
charges are less.
In smaller ports, in India, smaller ports, there are two types of ports. One is the major ports and second is the smaller ports. In smaller ports, this warehousing is very cheap. But the difference, I'll tell you what is the difference. In smaller ports and major ports, certain size of vessels cannot come to smaller ports. Like 15,000 tons, they can come to small ports. I think there are 72 smaller ports and I think there are 15 major ports in India. So in major ports, most of them normal size 50,000, 60,000, 80,000 ton ship can come. But in smaller ports, there is a, depending on the port, a particular beyond particular size ship cannot come. It cannot take berth. So depending on if your ship is small, you can choose to send the goods by a smaller ship and coming to these smaller ports, you will save money on bonded warehouse. It is possible.
I have a question. What kind of goods do enter in that category number 4? Number 4 in transit and trade. What kind of goods? Can you give an example?
Loading to the port of destination. I'll tell you. One example I'll tell you. Nepal is a landlocked country.
Yes.
Nepal do not have a port. So all the goods of Nepal cannot come by air. It will become very, very expensive. So what Nepal does, Nepal bring the goods on Indian ports. Right? In such cases, which are bound for Nepal, for example, they have to file this bill. It's in transit. Unloading is taking place. Right? Some agent is doing it. Somebody is there from India. Mostly it comes to Calcutta port. Mostly. So, in fact, Calcutta port, they have an office of Nepal customs also. They do not do it, but they have an office. Just for, like 1 or 2 persons are there. But what happens, they file this bill of entry. The goods, the seal is not broken, customs seal. It will remain as it is. It will be broken at the Nepal border. It will go by truck. So these are the cases. What is custom value? Value of imported goods as appraised by the customs and used as the basis for assessing the amount of import duty and other taxes, which I will discuss later also in detail. It may be computed in several ways, but the most preferred method is transaction value, which is also called transaction value is basically ad valorem. Ad valorem, which is ad valorem means it is the duty is payable as a percentage of the transaction value. Now transaction value can be actual value, it can be customs value also, right? And then the other method is specific. Specific means irrespective of what is the value, like the price is per kg basis, import duty, or per ton basis, like that, right? That is called specific. So it can be transaction value, which includes other costs incurred by the buyer, such as packing cost, license fee, royalty, and any other sum that appear. Like for example, CIF landed cost. It is called CIF landed cost. Landed. It's mostly CIF cost. It is the custom officer and not the importer, exporter, or the custom broker who has the final say in assigning this value. It is called so it is the assessed value. Assessed value. Now this assessed value can be ad valorem, it can be specific also. If it is ad valorem, then it will be transaction value. If it is specific, then it doesn't matter whether it is CI or whatever it is. It says that this is the item, for this item per kg or per ton that is there. Like that. Like for example, brass scrap. I told you, no? So in brass scrap you have got a specific import duty. And that varies depending on the international price of the commodity. In most of the commodities you have got specific duty. So what people do, they cannot do any under invoicing. So they will do some hanky panky with the quantity, which I told you the example also. So this value is, if it is ad valorem, then it will be calculated on CIF landed cost. And if it is specific, then it's a different matter. But it's a custom value. It's not the actual value, it's the custom value. It should not be very much different from the transaction value. If it is very much different, then it will come under FEMA. Then custom will inform. Who will be informed? It will inform to two organizations. Who are these two organizations? Custom will inform if they see any foreign exchange.
RBI?
One is RBI, second is ED, Enforcement Directorate, DRI. Depending on case. If it is a fraud case, then it will be DRI. Right? If it is a different case, mostly it will be fraud case. So in most of the cases, they will inform both RBI as well as DRI. Because RBI itself cannot take any action. RBI also will take action through DRI only. Right? What is bonded warehouse? Secured facility supervised by custom authorities where dutiable landed imports are stored pending their re-exports or release on assessment and payment of import duties, taxes and other charges. Also called custom warehouse.
That means before paying the import duties and custom duties.
Before. Bonded warehouse means it is still not in DTA.
How we can open bonded warehouse?
How you can, what is the question?
How we can take the bonded warehouse from the customs?
You instruct the custom people that I want to keep these goods in bonded warehouse. They will charge for it.
They'll charge for it.
But the problem is, they will charge very high. Why? Because if they don't, they charge very small amount, then all our ports will be loaded with goods. Nobody will, people will say, okay, keep it. When I need it, I will get it cleared. Right? So it's very costly. So, bonded warehouse is very costly. Definitely much more than the normal price. So only in rare cases where people really need to put it in bonded warehouse, they will do it. There is one more thing I want to tell you. There is another concept, which is a little different concept of bonded warehouse, which again depends. It depends. Actually, the price of bonded warehouse also depends on the location. And what is the purpose? See, there one type of bonded warehouse which is required, which is kind of mandatory. Like, you need a transition, some area at the port itself. But there is another purpose of bonded warehouse in today's time. There is another purpose. And that is a commercial purpose. I don't know whether you know about it. That is...
Somebody's...
No. I'll tell you what. Actually, it is not happening in India, but it will soon happen in India. All the countries in the world, custom people, they are having bonded warehouse for making money also. Making money for the commercial reason. But such warehouses are not on the port. They are away from the port. Now, what is the purpose of this? In fact, India is benefiting a lot from such bonded warehouse. That facility has not been provided by Indian customs till now, but it will come. But in all the developed countries, they have bonded warehouse which are for commercial purpose, not for the regulatory purpose. Commercial purpose. What is the meaning of that? I am an exporter from India. What is happening is that my export promotion council, for example, I am exporting textile goods. So tax pro sale Textile Export Promotion Council, what they will provide me one facility. They have already leased bonded warehouse, for example, in Germany, Frankfurt, which is a bonded warehouse, which is actually approved by customs of Germany. Now what, and it is true also, most of the EPCs have this kind of bonded warehouse, which is approved by customs, but they are away from port. So, and they are not very expensive. Now, these are leased by the promotion councils, and this facility is available to the member of the EPCs. And what is the benefit of this? There is a very great benefit. Now, my goods are being exported to Germany on a regular basis, monthly basis, like that. And I know what kind of goods will be sold, like that. So what I will do, I will not wait for the order of the buyer. I will not wait. What I will do,
Advance dispatch.
I will do the advance dispatch from India, and I will do stock and sale. So what will happen? The goods which are ordered by the buyer, I will provide them within 1 week or maybe 3 days in Germany itself. I get the order, I use the bonded warehouse in Germany and supply the goods in 3 days. Buyer is very happy, and he will pay you probably 20-25% extra because he is getting the goods so fast because of convenience, because of less blockage of funds. Now, what is the advantage to you? You are giving a better service to the customer. You are getting a better value for your goods. And third thing, because it is a bonded warehouse, you are not paying the import duty on goods which are unsold. You are not paying the import duty in Germany, in German customs.
But why should I pay import duty in Germany? Then buyer who should pay?
Buyer, see, ultimately buyer has to pay. Either you pay or the buyer pay. Depend on the Incoterms. There are Incoterms, 7 Incoterms place to place. In place to place Incoterms, what will happen? If it is D term, import duty has to be paid by you. DDP, delivered duty paid, right? So that is also possible. Even if it is not there, ultimately who is paying the duty? Even if you pay, ultimately it will come from the buyer only, right?
Yes.
But what about the goods which are not sold? Who will pay the duty for that? Right? In this kind of advance shipments, you are not sure that all the things will be sold. So what do? You put it in the bonded warehouse.
But there is some limit.
Obviously, no, that limit is given by the EPC. It will allocate space to each and every member depending on their 3-year record and the status. Whether it is trading house, it's a start trading house, whatever is the status of that member. Accordingly, on merit, they will allocate space at a very concessional rate. Government will provide a benefit from MDA, Market Development Assistance. Now this is also a WTO question. The WTO says, why you are providing 50% discount on bonded warehouse? They will say, we are not providing any subsidy. We are providing from market development. It's a market development assistance. We are promoting our exports. We are facilitating marketing. Right? So there is an MDA fund. So WTO says okay. Now that is allowed for all the members of WTO. So if it is allowed for all the members will do it. All the countries want this. In fact, China is doing it in very, very, very much bigger way. In fact, China has gone to a next level. It is having bonded warehouse along the route. Along the route. Like, see what happens. The sea highway. What is the sea highway? Sea highway is from Europe, from Suez Canal to Gwadar, Pakistan, that port. Then Huba Tata in Sri Lanka, right? This is a super highway, na? And then Myanmar, then Chittagong, Bangladesh, then Myanmar. So this is what is this? This is the highway, super highway of sea. What China has done? China has invested billions and billions of dollars on all these ports and taken bonded warehouse
On port itself.
on port itself. So you can have bonded warehouse at any point on the way. You can have it in Myanmar, you can have it in Chittagong, you can have it in Batata, you can have it in Gawadar, Pakistan, and you can have it in Kenya. And now they are extending this facility to Pacific Ocean. Further also. Right? This is called the strategy of the garland of pearls. Garland of pearls strategy of China, but only China has been able to do it. No other country has been done in the world. But like for India, this bonded warehouse are available in most of the countries like this. Right? So this your bonded warehouse has become a very, very strategic thing for marketing purpose, for providing quick deliveries. Right? And especially for China, the biggest problem is the Straits of Malacca. The route between Myanmar and Beijing, Shanghai. Right? So for them to even have bonded warehouse in Myanmar is a very, very big thing. They save at least 10-15 days. Right? Because Strait of Malacca means big queues. Waiting time is 1 week, 10 days, like that. Just to pass through Strait of Malacca. So they save a lot of time.
Hello.
Right?
Excuse me, I have a question. Do these warehouses have some time frame to keep the specific goods at point level or time?
No, it totally depends on the allocation. Your Export Promotion Council,
Right.
How much they will allocate you space, they will allocate you the number of days also. So you utilize whatever.
And after that,
Concessional.
And after that particular days.
After that, you have to pay full.
specific time.
Then after that, if you want to use it and the space is available, you pay full. No concession will be given. You can still use it because not every member will use it. So EPC may have extra space. But the whole bonded warehouse is of India only. Like it's available for Indians. And there is not one bonded warehouse. There are many of them. All the countries have their bonded warehouse. And that whole complex is a money earning proposition for the German customs. They are making money out of it. And it is not on the port, it is away from the port. The only thing is that it has got a boundary, the custom people are there, and it is a bonded, which means it is secured by custom people. It cannot enter the DTA of Germany without paying duties, without clearance. And the clearance facility is available there only. You can get it cleared there only. You need not come to the port for that. And for that matter, you must be knowing that in all these countries, customs clearance can be done anywhere in the country. Wherever there is a custom office. The facility is available. The sealed packet, the sealed container, you can take anywhere in the country and get it. The seal can be broken anywhere in the country. This facility is not available in India. Right?
So another question that is it a legal thing that you can make a bonded warehouse in each and every area and all that?
Until
you were saying that the country has been making the warehouses in some places.
Like what China is doing.
Yes, China is doing. So is it legalized?
It is an agreement between the country.
You are saying that they are making money out of it. Most of the money.
Yeah, of course. Pakistan is making a lot of money. It actually got something like $4 billion from China. Now, against that $4 billion invested by China, China has asked for bonded warehouse free of cost. That's the only thing. Right? Now, in Batata, Sri Lankan government got $10 billion. So, they will say, oh, jitna banana, bonded warehouse, whatever, you are the owner, It's like that. And that's why, that became a very big problem. This Rajapaksa problem was this only with India. That how you allowed this to happen without our knowledge. You are a sovereign nation. Right? That became the big problem. And now Indian government is trying to do something about it. Because China has got an edge in our neighborhood. And the other problem is that they not only have bonded warehouse, they have the berthing facility for their naval activities, submarines or the defense vessels. That is a bigger problem. Because so much of money is being spent on Myanmar, Chittagong, Watata, Gawadar, Kenya by China. So these people have allowed everything, like that. But what I am saying about that bonded warehouse, that is the strategy of making money by the custom people of those countries. And they are reasonable. They are not very expensive. Because these countries have space. I mean, it's not so populated like India. And the real estate is not so expensive in these countries. Like, for example, if you take the example of USA, it is damn cheap. The land is very cheap in places like Australia or in USA. So those bonded warehouse will be little more than the market price, and that little more is the income of customs, because they are providing facility also. They are providing facility of custom clearance and other things, and they are protecting also. Right? So they will charge for it, but they are making money out of it. So this is how it is being done. Now, what is IGM? Import General Manifest. Transport document that serves as a tally sheet and gives detailed summary of all bill of lading on or airway bills issued by courier or its agent for a particular voyage of a particular vessel or a vehicle. For cargo carrying vessels or vehicles, a manifest lists its consignor, consignee, number, bill of lading number, origin, destination, value, and other such information primarily for use by custom authorities. But it is available online, so you will get a advanced knowledge that your bill of lading is there. You can check. Where the vessel or vehicle carries passengers, it lists their names, port of embarkation, port of circumvention. So it depends. If it is a cargo vessel, a different IGM is there. For passenger, it's a different. Right? So what you are saying that master of the airway bills probably is the same name for the same thing. But I will check on this. What is cargo arrival notice? Notice sent by a courier or agent to the consignee and to the notified party, if any, to inform about the arrival of the shipment and number of packages, description of goods, their weight and collection charges. It's called arrival notice. This is okay. It is basically an advance notice, right? No, it's not. Sorry, it's not an advance notice. Advance notice. It happens on the arrival. Now,
When the ship arrives,
when the ship arrives,
and they charge for it.
and the charge for it, obviously. What is indent? Same thing. Order for goods placed often through a local or foreign agent of a foreign supplier under specified conditions of sale, the acceptance of which by the supplier constitute a contract of sale. That's why I told you that performance invoice can be indent, purchase order can be indent, or it can be in some other form. Most common used method is performance invoice. Once it is signed by the buyer, accepted by the buyer, it becomes an indent. In case of formal contract documents, an indent may not be required. Sometimes it is also called purchase order. Restricted import in India. Normally the restrictions of import is on agriculture products. Now this restriction again is a WTO matter. But as I told you, WTO is moving slow on defense.
Especially for
Agriculture.
Agriculture import.
Because of
Allows consumption.
No. See, I tell you, as I told you, it's a sensitive issue. All the governments of the world, they have a special responsibility for their farmers. Now, what is happening? Even the rich countries have huge subsidies they are giving to farmers. You will be surprised to know the international price of the cheapest variety of rice is approximately 300 rupees. Approximately. And as you know, in India, rice is available for maybe, in PDS it is available for 2-3 rupees, something like that. But that is only in India. If you go to any developed countries, even the same quality, you will get minimum price, you will get something like 250 to 300 rupees per kg. Why? because their cost of production is very high in those countries, even higher than 300, right? So government, their government, what they will do when suppose the rice comes from India, like for example basmati is allowed to export from India. Now whatever may be the price of basmati, the landed price of the basmati will be more than the normal variety, and the minimum price is 300 rupees. So obviously the basmati will be sold for something like 400, 500 rupees, like that. Why? Because against the will of the WTO, against the principles of WTO, even the rich countries are manipulating those imports in agriculture to protect their farmers. Otherwise, what will happen? These farmers in those countries will stop producing rice. And why it is expensive? One reason is that they are high cost of labor, and second reason is because rice requires a lot of water. In India, there is no water management. So what happens? Rice, the water which is used for rice is free of cost because the God is giving, and it is just lying there. So because there is no water management in India, even otherwise this water will go waste. So government say, okay, so it is making the rice, so okay, fine. That's why rice is cheap in India. But that is not the case in other countries. In other countries, the water will be available for making rice on a cost. It is not free. Right? Water is not free there. Right?
They are taking the cheap price from India and selling at a higher price than the in between.
That is being manipulated by their customs, either through import duties or some system, some custom, some quota system is there. Every country have their different system. But ultimately, imported rice will be same price or higher price than the local price. Like for example, you take the example of South Korea. I myself checked on this point. South Korea, they cannot produce rice, any variety of rice below 300 rupees. It's not possible.
But other than agriculture field, it can be happen.
Yeah, in other items, you have to go by WTO diktat. In other items, see what is happening?
We are making CD in India.
Yeah.
That is costing somewhere around 9 rupees to 11 rupees.
Okay. Yes.
And this Chinese made CDs are available by 7 rupees in India.
Yeah. Fine. So WTO has no problem.
No problem.
Because see, and government of India cannot do anything. They will have to go through some waivers because India is developing country. Some waiver is there. They will try to do some jugglery.
They should charge some countervailing duty now.
CVD, you are right. CVD they will put, but they cannot put CVD beyond certain point. They will go by the waivers given to India by WTO, which are allowed, right? So that's why, that is the reason. Toy industry is gone from India. Why? Because they cannot put CVD to that extent to bring the price of Chinese toys as per our Indian cost. So what happened? Finally, to some limit they did. But beyond that, WTO will not allow. But if it would have been agriculture, then WTO would not have come into picture. That is already happening, right? I'll give you one more example. Almonds are coming from USA, right? Now they are quite cheap, reasonably. If you produce those almonds in India, it will be more costly. Many of the things will be costly in India. But there is no motivation for Indians to produce. But suppose many places Indians start producing almonds, even at the higher price. There are many of them. Then Indian government will put some restrictions for the American almonds. Today there is no, because in India it does not produce. So there is no reason for Indian government to have any restrictions. But that is possible only because it's an agricultural commodity. If for other commodities, Indian government cannot do anything. I hope you have understood. So import restrictions are available freely. Even WTO probably will not touch. And that is now WTO is now working on agriculture now. This Doha round is taking so many years now. It is working. So every time, it happens. Developing countries say something, every member says no. So it lingers on and lingers on. They are not able to come to any agreement. See, because WTO cannot do it, has to be all agreements. So people are not agreeing on agriculture. The two things, defense equipment, defense matter, and agriculture, the countries are not agreeing. But probably in 5 to 10 years or maybe 15 years, in agriculture also will become the same. So it is possible that from India, although as per me, India will benefit. Because India will become rich by supplying rice. But the problem is, the price of rice will become so high, many people will die in India. Because they will not be able to afford rice. And whole Bengal will be dying. Bengal, without rice they cannot live. Right? So rice is banned. Export is banned. Right? But rice can make Indians very rich, actually. If there is no restriction, and if the WTO succeeds in agreements, like other commodities in agriculture, then India will be one of the richest countries in the world, obviously. Right? But many people will be poor. They will die because they will not be able to afford rice and many other items, agriculture items. So, what Indian government does? Indian government is also double-minded. One way, if it becomes WTO matter, like others, India is going to benefit. But on the other way, they cannot take care of the poor people. So, Indian government are also not very clear. No government in the world is clear about agriculture. Whether agriculture should be treated like other items, nobody is clear. So, it is just that all the governments are subsidizing their farmers, they are providing free electricity, they are giving MSP, minimum support price. Even that is a WTO matter. MSP. How can government give minimum support price? But
that is not international matter.
it's an international matter.
Basic thing.
What happened? This Obama is coming to India for this only. Because Indian government says, we will give MSP in Doha round. And India was the only country which was saying. Other countries were saying that we will phase it out in next 10 years. India will say that we cannot do it in 10 years. We require at least 30 years. Or some, we don't want to do it. Then Obama made parlays with the Modi government.
Farmer will lose his money.
Yeah, because MSP, without MSP, you are right. So farmers will die. So what Obama did, they made a trade-off with Modi government. If not 10 years, we'll make it some 15, 20 years. Then finally Modi agreed, and that's why Obama is coming to India. For this reason only. Because it was Obama only who could convince for trade facilitation pact. What is trade facilitation pact? It includes agriculture. Now slowly what WTO is doing, it is trying to include agriculture in everything. That in 10 years, 15 years, subsidy will be reduced or this, they are coming to sensitive matters now. So India was the only country which was opposed. Now Obama managed to, and even if one country is opposed, that pact cannot be signed in WTO because WTO is a club. All the members has to agree. So India was the only country, right? And Modi government did that, right? So now that problem is over. So that's why Obama is very happy that I did it. That's why he is coming. It's like this. So import of agriculture, Food Adulteration Act, as per the Food Adulteration, that even USA does, FDA, Food and Drug Administration, right? That is also import restriction only, right? Restricted old motor cars and canalized item. You know what is canalized item? Have you ever heard this word? Canalized?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is the meaning? There are some items which can be imported only through some specific agencies.
By government agencies.
By government agencies. Yeah.
Government has, like for example, the biggest canalizing agencies in India are two. One is State Trading Corporation, STC, and second is MMTC, Metals and Minerals Trading Corporation. Right? So, and certain items are canalized. They can be only exported or imported by these companies. Yeah. And the item keep on changing. Like certain minerals can only be imported or exported by MMTC only. Like that.
Does restriction of old motor cars legal?
Old motor cars is for the pollution control. Like most of the countries do not allow beyond 7 years or like that. Even if it is your personal car, they will not allow. Like India is also now trying to make it 15 years. Up till now, there is not many restriction. There is some, I don't know, it is some 20 years, whatever it is. But Indian government is trying to make it 15 years now. They will not allow any car older than 15 years. That is for the environment. And probably they have already put this condition. I'm not very sure about that. Just have to check. Because there, I think, cars beyond 15 years, even today, they are not being imported. I'm not sure. I have to check this. That how many years old car is allowed. But you need a license beyond certain time. You need a license. It is possible that you are buying some antique car, something like that. So you'll need a license for that, right? For the antique value or whatever. So, what are the preliminary formalities? This for the importation, that is a very theoretical. Trade inquiries, getting perform invoice, printing import license, placing the order, placing the indent, opening letter of credit, getting documents of title, receiving advice note, making payments, receiving documents of title. This is the normal procedure what we use in exports. See, somebody's export is somebody's imports. Same thing. It's just a checklist. Clearing of goods, getting delivery order, payment of custom duties. Right? Important documents in import rate. Just I'm giving you very basic documents. One is the import license, if required. Indent, which you give. Letter of credit, bill of entry, and bill of site. Invoice. No, these are documents which comes with which is sent through bank. You know, these documents you receive through the bank. You buy from the bank.
Not through the goods.
No, through the goods they are just for information copies. Original documents will come through bank only. You have to buy it from the bank. If you have paid some margin money, 10%, 20%, whatever it is, you have to pay rest of the money and buy it from the bank. Bank will sell it to you. Invoice, packing list, original bill of lading, delivery order, copy of license, attested. That's a different matter. And insurance policy. If the insurance has been given by the shipper. Now, there is one more thing I want to tell you. I think you already know it. In certain countries, they have some rules that you have to open LC on CIF basis. You cannot use the income tax FOB. Do you know the meaning of that? What is the purpose? Certain countries, they have a system like that. That if you want to import something from certain countries, you have to have an indent on CIF basis. Can you tell me why and why is it so? What is the purpose? Many of the countries will do that. Why it is so? Otherwise, it is between you and the exporter. You are the buyer and the exporter. So you will say, okay, no, I don't want you, just give me FOB. I will arrange for the freight. I will arrange for the insurance. But he says, no, it is not possible. My government will not allow. Can you tell me why? Have you heard about it? Have you faced this problem any time? You are not faced.
We have faced this problem, but what is the reason we don't know? Because
you
there are
faced
certain companies who are always quoting their pricing in CIF basis. Why they are doing?
I tell you. Their government says, if you deal in FOB, then freight and insurance will be arranged by the buyer, and most probably that freight and insurance will go to an Indian company. We are losing business. The country is losing business. I hope you understand. If it is CIF, then freight and insurance will be paid by the exporter. Right? Price will go up. So more business is coming to that particular country. Now, Indian government has no such condition. Why? If Indian government also make it compulsory for exporters to have contract in CIF basis, our export value will come down. Our volume of export will come down.
Yeah, but same thing is there also.
Yes, you are right. Same thing is there also. But those countries have got very good balance of payment position.
You are not
Like,
bothered.
so they are not worried. Like for example, Singapore. We take the example of Singapore. Singapore is doing lot of trading as well as exports. So their export is not much. Their main thing is what the goods are coming and going. So they are not worried. So what they will, the government will say, no. Deal only in CIF. Why should we lose business, whatever export we have? Even if their export is reduced, they don't worry. They don't worry about it. So it's not that all the countries do it, because ultimately you are right that by doing that, what will happen? People will switch to other countries. They will buy from other countries. Why they will buy? But many times what happens? Buyer also think, okay, my headache is over, so let us do business in CIF. Why not? You know, that kind of. If you want to have some branded items, right? So you have no choice. So that is the case. Like China cannot do it, because China is dependent on exports. They cannot impose this condition that the exporter from China has to deal in CIF only, right? So mostly it is done by such countries which has got very strong foreign trade already. Foreign trade means it's a very favorable. Their import is less, export is more. In such countries. So this we have already discussed. We'll discuss, if the time permits, we'll discuss the LC later. Right? Confirmed LC, which in fact I showed you a video also yesterday, but we'll discuss later. This is one sample of letter of credit. This you can see here. Mostly, LC is coming in a very, now the Swift codes are used. Do you know what is the meaning of Swift code?
Yes.
Swift codes.
Right, I know that.
What happens? LC comes by electronic method, right? So what they do, instead of writing in detail, they use Swift code. The benefit of that, what is the benefit of Swift code is that there is no ambiguity, communication error, because code will tell what is the clause.
Exactly. Swift codes are referred to as a bank, and in India we have routing numbers for each and every bank to locate some of the areas of that particular bank. We use routing numbers.
No, that is okay.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying, now this LC, for example, describes conditions. This. Nowadays, it is not described. No. What they do, unless there is no Swift code available of a particular condition, then they will describe. But otherwise, what they will do, to reduce, see, when you describe anything, you can interpret it in many ways. If whatever you describe, somebody will say, oh, it is the meaning of this. Somebody will say, no, meaning is this. So what they have done? Nothing doing. Just put a code. And there is a very detailed description of each and every code. What is the meaning of it? Right? So even UCP says 600 that try to use as many Swift code as possible, so that there is no ambiguity.
Swift code is for identifying that particular bank
No.
of the exporting
No.
country who are dealing with that importing country.
No.
Yes, it is. It is.
No,
Swift code is a particular for a particular bank. Swift code cannot be same for each and every
correct.
bank.
No, Swift code, there are two Swift code. One, what you are saying is the identification of bank.
Right.
But that is one purpose of it. Second purpose of Swift code is to identify the condition. There is a list of Swift code.
So suppose LC is made in Kenya from the A bank, but that A bank does not deal with India. Then
Okay.
the payment will come through B bank.
Okay.
Then we will use the SWIFT code of the B, so that the payment can come from B bank to our Indian bank.
I tell you what is the meaning of this. The bank which is having Swift codes, whatever the banks, they are under the Swift system, right? They have a bank code. That is one part of it. Second, the bank which has got Swift code also, they are also they can also receive LC in Swift codes itself.
MTP
You will say
70
there are two
yes.
types of Swift code. You will you say?
Yeah, two meaning.
To meaning.
Do we
So-
have the same code?
No.
That
Swift code has got
That
two
was
parts.
different number.
Swift code has got two
Different-
parts.
different
One
number.
part is to identify the bank. Second part is to identify the conditions.
condition.
That must be different number.
Yes.
No.
That must be different number.
Yes,
Yeah. It will be
yes.
different. Yeah. Every condition will have a different
How many
number.
hours they can use?
Yes. You're right. Every condition will have a different number. Like for example, this LC is irrevocable. UCB 500. Because in UCB 500, it's not by default. It is not irrevocable. So you put this LC is irrevocable. So you don't write this LC is irrevocable. You write the code. Because even if there is some spelling mistake, there can be problem. So what you do? You just put the Swift code. So you will find a LC which is all in codes only. Right? So it's no problem because ultimately it is advised by the bank. So what bank will do? Bank will not give you the LC like that only. It will explain the conditions and will give you and will charge for it.
Usually there are codes as well as language also.
Yeah.
Yes.
As I told you that some of the conditions do not exactly match with the code. So it depends on the instruction given by the buyer who has opened the LC. If some instruction do not match with the code, they has to be written fully. It's like that. So it has got codes also. It has got where code is possible, they will, and it is also possible. It is also possible that they describe also and give a code also.
Code.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Both. This is also possible.
Normally,
When they put the code,
Yeah.
automatically
yes.
Yeah.
Instruction will appear.
And why they put the code? That if there is any misunderstanding in the language, the final say will be of the code.
Yes.
To
We
identify.
exchange with the bank with the same codes.
Yeah. And this decoding is only possible for such banks who are under Swift system.
Yes. Okay.
Some banks do not come under Swift system, so they will not have a Swift code also. What you are saying is right.
At this time, most of the banks have their own Swift codes.
Yeah, most of the bank will have. Whoever
Dealing in international businesses.
whoever is a foreign exchange dealer, who is the member of FIDI,
Every bank.
Foreign Exchange Dealers Association. Whoever is the member of FIDI.
There is one more problem which we are facing very frequently.
Yeah.
When we open the LC, we complete the LC opening form. When final LC is opened, there are certain conditions which are not put by us. It is a bank requirement.
Oh, when you give the LC.
Yeah,
Obviously.
And
See,
party says, please delete these classes.
yeah.
So bank says, no, we cannot delete it. These are the,
See, I tell you, since the liability is going to the bank,
yeah.
now the bank will not take a risk.
Not deleting it.
So he will not go exactly by your instruction.
Yeah.
They will, because the risk is being taken by the bank. But the good practice is that bank will tell you that these are your condition, but we can open LC with these added conditions only. They should tell you actually.
These are bank
Case with
conditions.
bank guarantees also. We are giving our format, so many
Yeah.
yeah. formats. They please use this format, but they don't agree.
They will not agree because it's a financial matter.
Yeah.
And the risk is of the bank, not of you.
Yes.
You are giving only 10 or 20% margin money. But the major risk is of the bank. So that's why they have the authority. But they should inform you. And you should give the consent, actually. But they don't do it. In India, they don't do it.
No, they take our consent.
They take your
For issuing the bank guarantee. They're saying that perform a bank guarantee. Accept it. Then
In the case of LCs,
they don't take.
they don't take consent from us.
Because they know they will not be able to. See, they will put only those conditions which they cannot change. These are the minimum
Those
requirements.
are standards.
Standard and minimum
You are
requirements.
If they open the LC with 19 conditions, when the LC is opened, it has 30 conditions.
Yeah.
So they say these 11 conditions are these are bank
Additional
Bank
condition
conditions.
and
Bank
the
conditions.
rest is the additional.
Otherwise, they will not open the LC.
conditions.
Yes.
See, that is why LCs are different from different banks. See, personally, I am of the view that as an exporter, if you are an exporter, you should have your account with a state government bank. If you are an importer, then your account should be with the international private bank to maintain good relationship with the buyer. Because they will open LC as per the international standards. Indian bank will put more conditions actually. But as an exporter, you can get many things done because the problem which you are facing. like fund banks or some private banks, they will have their own condition which is beyond RBI. That's the problem. But as an importer, it is always better to have account in ICICI Bank or Citibank or Standard Chartered Bank, Standard Chartered Bank or HSBC. These are the banks where all big companies which imports, they will like to have bank accounts. So this is the normal. Easier than exporting. Although importing has more problems. You face more problems in exporting than in importing. About 60% of the world trade, this also should be very clear to importers, that up till 60% of the world trade is still denominated in US dollar. USD. That is still the main currency. Do you know the daily foreign exchange transaction, the volume of foreign exchange transaction daily, on a daily basis?
In India?
World. $4.5 trillion per day. $4.5 trillion per day. After making it half from the actual counting, because every transaction is double counted. And do you know why? Any import or export, whatever it is, LCs, basically what is happening from one country to another country, that foreign exchange market, the actual volume is double the real volume. Why is it so? Can you tell me?
One country is buying, one country is
So it is double counted. The country which is buying also will count. The country which is selling will also count. So actual figure will come to $9 trillion per day. But the actual is 4.5 after you make it half. Right? So out of that, 60% is the business happens in dollars on everyday basis. Therefore, one important area to bother about is in the import, you also know about the hedging and all, forward, spot rate, forward rate, swap. You understand that for as an importer.
protecting your inflow from the exchange fluctuation.
Risk management. Risk management. But do you deal with that? Forward, when to use forward, when to use spot, when to use swap.
What is swap?
I'll tell you what is the swap.
Sometimes we use forward.
From one currency
Sometimes you use.
one currency to another.
Yeah, I'll just tell you. Spot is spot, whatever is the rate. But the problem with spot is, what happens? You are a businessman. You are not a player in the market. You are not in the $4.5 trillion market. You are not the player. You are actually a user. You are a user of what? LC. You are opening LCs. Your mind is not on what is the rate today, what will the rate tomorrow. Your main interest is that I have sold this item or I want to import this item. Today it is costing me 1 crore rupees. Right? Today, when you open the LC. But actually when you will have to pay, it is possible that it will cost you 1.1 crore rupees. There is a change of almost 10%. Although it is very rare. Or even if it is not that much, even if it is say 1 crore 5 lakh rupees. So what is happening? When you open the LC, your costing was 1 crore rupees. But when actually the transaction is taking place, the day when the payment is happening, it is 1.5 lakh, 1 crore 5 lakh rupees. You can say, okay, no problem. I have no worry. Why you are not worrying? It is also possible that on that day it will cost you 95 lakh rupees. It is also possible. Am I right or wrong? It is possible. The camel can go to this side or that side. It is okay. No. Because you don't want to get into all that. You are only concerned with 1 crore. Neither you are concerned with the 5 lakh benefit. You are not concerned with neither the 5 lakh rupees benefit, nor you are concerned with the benefit of or the loss of 5 lakh rupees. You are only interested in 1 crore because in this 1 crore you have already calculated and you are making some reasonable margin and you are not into all that. I want today it is 1 crore. After 20 days or 15 days when the actual transaction takes place and I know the date, I can So what you will do? You can do one thing. Either you play the game, you may benefit, you may not lose. In that case, it is sport. Whatever is the sport rate. Or otherwise, what you can do, you know the date, you buy forward. What do? You buy forward. What is the forward? You go to the bank, you say, I want 7 days forward or 8 days forward. When you expect the transaction to take place? Bank will say, okay, no problem. You pay me 1 lakh rupees extra. So my spot rate will be, he will give you a spot rate which actually will cost you not 1 crore. It will cost you 1 crore 1 lakh rupees. Right? You see, but why you are happy with this? You are not bothered about 1 lakh rupees. It is still near 1 crore. Right? But you are worried that if it becomes 1 crore 5 lakh rupees, then you are worried. So what do you say? You tell the bank, okay, give me this forward. I am happy with 1.1 crore rupees because 1 crore rupees, 1 lakh rupees I can afford, but I cannot afford more than that. Now bank will be very happy because they have their own analysis, but which may be right or which may not be wrong. Now what is happening? Bank also will not take the risk. He is only an intermediary. He will charge 1 lakh rupees from you and pass on the risk to a third party who is actually a player in the market. There are 3 types of entities in financial market. One is the player, second is the intermediary, and third is the user. You are the user, bank is the intermediary, and third party, the main party is the players. In Hindi we call it satori. You know, the people who play. Well, because they are playing every day. In the $4.5 trillion market, they are playing every day.
They are registered players or
What?
players?
Players, you can also do it. You can have a software.
No, they are insurance software one.
No. Players are small, big, all people who play, who take risk. Have you not? So many people who are doing job, they are having foreign exchange software and they are selling and buying on every daily basis. They sometimes say, "Oh, I earned $500 today."
From the
Tomorrow,
stock market.
from the international foreign exchange market, which is OTC market, over the counter, computer. It's totally, there is no exchange. It's OTC. It's available 24 hour. It is closed only on 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, Australian time. Right? It is open all the time. And people are playing. People are player. So what bank does? Bank charge you 1 lakh rupees and keep 50,000 rupees, and 50,000 rupees is passed on to the actual players. You know, like, so now what the actual player will do with that 50,000, he will either earn the money or lose the money. Like what happens in insurance companies. Insurance company, what they do, they sell you the policy, right? But they actually don't take the risk. Who takes the risk? Underwriters. Who are underwriter? TPA, third party insurance. Right? Third party who is insuring actually take the risk. They are the undertaking. You know, they are the undertakers. The insurance companies are only marketing companies. They are only intermediaries. Same is the case here. You go to the bank, they will charge you 1 lakh rupees, or whatever the amount. And that amount is also varying all the time, depending on the analysis. They will say, okay, how it is varying? It is varying as per the forward rate. So bank will charge his commission on that forward rate and pass on the thing to the actual player. Now forward rate is a notional rate, is a assumed rate. Who has seen the future? Nobody knows the future. It is just the market thinks that this is the forward rate. Okay, fine, this is the rate. So they will take some pie of that amount and pass on the thing to the market, and market either will make money or lose money. But you are safe. Now here you will start thinking, why I have paid 1 lakh rupees? He may be actually earning, right? So there is another method of reducing even this money, and that is called swap. What has happened in swap? Now it is very, very interesting. You are ready to spend 1 crore rupees. You are ready to open an LC. Today you feel, because you are opening LC dollars, but you will pay in rupees. So as per the today's rate of foreign US dollar, it is costing you 1 crore rupees. But after 7 days, you want to ensure it is 1 crore rupees, there is another method of doing it. What is the method?
That is called the swap.
Who? One method I told you, forward rate. You take a forward rate. But forward rate you are not happy. Why? Because somebody is taking your risk. Somebody is taking your risk. And there is somebody who is making you meet that person. That is the intermediary, that is the bank. So bank is also taking commission. And the person who is taking this will also charge with good amount of money. Something like 1 lakh rupees, 90,000 rupees, bank, whatever the money. But you are
buying the dollar on the same day.
No, if you are buying the dollar on the same day, see, when you open a LC is not effective that day, na? LC will be effective when the delivery takes place, when the issuing bank pays the money. That is the day, na? Right? So, and in fact, actually, the day you buy your documents, actually, the day you go to the bank and buy the document, what is the spot rate that day? That actually is the amount, right? So LC is opened in dollar, not in rupees, but rupee will keep on changing. So what do you do? One way is you take a forward rate with the bank. That when I will buy the goods, I will buy on this date or that date, 2-3 dates, right? So bank will say, okay, in these dates, this is a forward rate. That is one way, but it is a costly affair. There is a cheaper way of doing this. What is the way? It is called forward. It is called swap. Now what is there in swap? You are sitting in India. You have opened a LC, which today you feel will cost you 1 crore rupees. Right? After 15 days, when you expect the actual transaction to take place, you may be a loser, you may be a winner, whatever it is. But you are not in the game of play. You are looking at the 1 crore rupees. You are looking at 1 crore rupees, which is, for example, is equivalent to $1 lakh. Suppose, let us. $1 lakh LC is there and it is costing you 1 crore rupees, right? Now, there is another person sitting in other country which is opening LC in dollars, $1 lakh, right? He is opening LC for $1 lakh for an Indian company. Sorry. He is opening a LC, for example, in Indian rupees. That is costing him $1 lakh at that today. Same like you. But he expects that after 7 days, he will lose the money. So what do? Technically, what do? You tell him, sir, you want dollars, I want rupees.
But how will you contact?
Coming to that. Wait. That's the beauty of this. I'll just tell you. I'm coming to that. So, what you will say, sir, you want rupees, I want dollars. How much dollar you have? He says, I want $1 lakh. He will ask you how much rupees you have. I have 1 crore rupees. So job is done. Let's fix the date. You give me 1 crore rupees that day, I will give you $1 lakh. Game is over. Because, right? So intermediary is gone. Player is gone. Right? But how to meet that person? You need a proper channel, Pandit ji. जो लड़का लड़की को मिलाते हैं, Pandit ji, you need Pandit ji. And that Pandit ji is computer. You have got services on computer which do the matchmaking. And they charge you very nominal fees. Pandit ji की fees क्या होगी? Very small, 10,000 रुपए, 20,000 रुपए, like computer based matchmaking, how much it will cost you? So you do, this is called swap.
There may be a risk.
What is the risk? Tell me.
Second party is genuine or not.
No, they are dealing some.
It is the person is that intermediaries will make sure that
Yes, they are dealing with some.
the authorized portals are there.
Just like stock market.
Yeah. They are charging for that only, na? If the transaction take swap, you have entered into a swap deal. They will have to.
Binding contract.
It's a binding contract.
Both the parties.
It's a binding contract. Clear? So as an importer, the best method is to do swap. The only problem is whether the conditions are right for swap. You know the dates, You have, because if you don't meet the dates, then you can lose money also, because you will have to provide that dollar or the rupees on that date. Or there will be some flexibilities depending on the nature of the contract. You will have some flexibility. But if you can't do that, then you will lose money. But not the whole money, but you will lose some penalty, whatever it is there, right? But
individual can do all these things. Does company do, or they have some procedure?
all big companies do it. They go by swap only. See, only in situation where swap is not possible, because of the uncertainties involved. In the rare case, company will go in forward. Rare case. And in very, very rare case, they will go to spot. Unless some companies, they have their own foreign exchange division, they can do analysis, whether will benefit. Actually, they become player. They have a department which plays. Then they will go for spot. Right? And they will go for spot only at the suggestion of the head of the department. He will say, sir, don't go anywhere, just go by spot. We are going to make money. And then the risk is of that head of the department. He will lose the job. Right? But some companies do that also. Right? So, you have got three options: swap, forward, and spot. Now, spot is done by very big companies, which has got everything, and especially the banks. Banks can do spot because they have got full-fledged departments. But normally banks do not do that. They are very happy being the intermediaries, because intermediary means the profit will be there, whether it is a spot deal, whether it is a swap. Even swap facility is provided by the bank also.
They do, but the banks, they do charge something about that.
Obviously, see, the internet portal will charge you less, bank will charge you more. Right? So this is basically, it is also called derivatives, derivative trading. It is also called derivative. The idea is for the importers to manage their foreign exchange risk. That is the thing, and it is very common. So normally companies leave it to the banks, unless the transactions are very high, very frequent. Depends on case to case. All the options are available.
Hedging is same, combined of all three. Hedging.
Hedging is same thing. Hedging is what? Is derivative trading. Hedging is, the meaning of hedging is risk management. Spot is not hedging. Taking forward or swap is a hedging. Basically. So this we have already discussed. Finding a bank and all. Now this is one point should be very important. Checking compliance with the national laws of the importing countries. In fact, as an importer, you have to check the laws of your country as well as the country from which you are importing. Like for example, I told you, in some countries they only enter into CF contract, and there can be some other needs also. As I told you that you may definitely have to ask for consular invoice. Although Indian government do not ask for a consular invoice, right? But suppose you are an importer in another country where consular invoice is required, and there is another certificate. I think Indian government require it. That is sanitary factor certificate. Indian government requires that any goods which are coming in India do not carry any infection or bacteria. That is why, in fact, I think it is very unique to Indian government.
Yeah, but it is particularly for food items only.
For food items also, and many, but Indian government requires in many things. Like even when you are coming to India, they sanitize you as per the Indian law. When you come back to your country, or anybody is coming to your country, in the plane, when the plane will land, before that they will sanitize the whole plane. There's an Indian law. Earlier it was a formality, but now it is not a formality. Now it is to be done properly. A few years back, the airlines were doing it like this. But now, government of India says no, nothing to do it properly. So when you come to India back, they will go, two people will, both the aisle, they will completely do the sanitization. So it is also there in the importation. So many of the items require
Phytosanitary.
this
Phytosanitary.
certificate. So all these laws has to be understood, right? You should be very clear. Okay. So this making allowance, I've already discussed with you. The swap forward, same thing. Fixing liability of payment of import transaction and warehouse. Acha, ho gaya? 1 minute. No. You remember I told you that suppose there is amendment in LC. If you open a LC and when you on a pro forma invoice or indent or contract, you have to have this thing very clear that in what situation any amendment in LC or any other charges, possible charges, who will pay?
Yes.
That you have to be very, very clear as an importer. LC amendment charges or any other charges, right?
Discrepancy charges.
Or suppose the
Some
bill of lading,
service charges.
bill of lading is stale, right? If you want to accept, what are the compensation you can ask? These things you can have in contract, but you can't have these things in LC. These cannot be conditions of LC. You cannot put these conditions. Or have you seen the amendment charges? Is there? Is given in the LC.
Yes.
In any LC, have you seen the amendment charges? Who will pay? The
That-
question of who will pay.
That is.
Have you seen?
Yeah.
Okay.
Amendment charge will be borne by the supplier.
It is given in the LC.
Given in the LC.
Yeah.
UCP 600 discourages that. See why you have seen, because UCP 500 it was there, and UCP 500 is still used. In 600, UCP 600, they discourage such kind of conditions. So it should be part of the contract. Do you know why? Can you tell me why?
How the buyer pay that amendment charges?
Because it is a dispute between you and the buyer,
Yeah.
but the contract is between you and the issuing bank. Now, here there is a catch. I'll tell you what. Some issuing bank will write this condition. Can you tell me why? They want to write this condition of LC amendment. Just logically think why. Very logical answer. It is not asked by the buyer actually. The bank says we will write it. And 99%, 100%, it will be the seller who has to pay. Right? Borne by the. Do you know why?
Their country charges seller and
Do you know why?
outside country charges.
There may be chances of discrepant document by seller.
By seller only. And the maximum possibility of dispute on this amendment is between the bank and the seller. Bank do not want to go to the buyer, because they want to go to buyer only when they want to sell the documents, because it is now between the issuing bank and the seller. So if you don't give any instruction, not all, but many banks would like to include this condition that only this LC amendment, not the other, because there are other charges also. LC amendment, bank will put this condition that it is to be borne by the seller, because it is very easy to get the money from the seller, because amendment will be required by the seller only. But the point here is, it may be because of the mistake of the buyer also. It can be, but there is a catch here. In that case, what will happen if it is a mistake of the buyer and amendment is being asked? Can you tell me what is the catch here? If the mistake is of the buyer,
He'll accept
These-
goods.
what?
He'll accept after a mistake of the buyer.
Yeah, if the mistake is of the buyer, he will not accept the LC. He should not accept the LC. And if he has accepted the LC because of the mistake of the buyer, then whose mistake it is? It is the seller's mistake. The mistake transfers from buyer to seller. So that's why, that is the reason. Issuing bank want this condition, many of the issuing bank, that any LC amendment charges will be borne by seller unless the buyer give an instruction to the bank that amendment charges will be paid by me. But in that case, do you know what happens? margin money will increase. Suppose when you give an indent, in indent you write that LC amendment charges will be, you are the importer, will be borne by me, right? And when you open the LC, you give an instruction that this line has to be included, that the amendment charges will be given by buyer. Now bank will say, bank is not, don't want to get into the trouble of getting money from you. It will say, you give it now itself. So what will he give? Even if there is no amendment, he will ask for more margin money from you so that he can include this condition, right? So that in the event of amendment, he can materialize this amount from the extra margin money.
Suppose I am the importer.
Yeah.
I am opening the LC through an Indian bank.
Right.
If there is any amendment is required, so
Yeah.
how bank will charge for the seller? Amendment charges.
Who asked for the amendment? You as a buyer will not ask. Will you ask for the amendment?
I am not asking. Suppose he is asking.
Suppose he is asking, so he
Yeah.
has to pay. And whom he will pay? To the advising bank.
The advising bank.
Yes. Advising bank or correspondent bank or negotiating bank or confirming bank, whatever it is. I mean, whatever the rule is there. Mostly it is.
Normally they ask.
Or the notifying
for
bank.
the LC, but we are paying it. Buyer is paying it.
Buyer is paying
Yeah, amendment charges.
amendment charges.
Yeah.
But is that condition given in the LC?
No, no.
Yeah. Because it is not given in the LC. Why it is not given in the LC? If he asks for this amendment, then margin money will increase. So what he is doing, you have got a separate contract, separate understanding, right? Because of that understanding, bank is concerned with the charges, right?
Yeah.
Right? So whether you pay or they pay, but they don't want to get into that situation when they have to chase the buyer. They don't want to chase the buyer. Why? Because in this contract is between you and the seller, not the buyer. This LC is not a contract between the buyer and the bank, no. That is a separate contract. That contract is a margin money contract, for which margin money has been taken. That is a separate contract. It is between the buyer. But you are asking for an amendment for a contract which is not, where the buyer is not there. Right? So why will he include this condition? And if you want it to be included, then they will increase the margin money. Simple. Very simple. That's why they will not have this condition in your case. They have a separate contract with you, understanding, and they will pay. But if the money does not come in time, they will ask the money from you. And that's why many banks include this condition that LC amendment charges will be borne by seller. Right? You must have seen that. Or have you ever seen any LC where it is written the LC amendment charges will be borne by the buyer? Have you ever seen any such LC? You have seen? In that case, they are giving more margin money. Simple.
LC is opening by the buyer.
LC is opened by the instructions, LC opening instruction given by the buyer. That's also a document. By the importer,
The
yes.
person who is importing the
Yeah.
goods, he will open
Yeah.
LC. So whatever the mistake will be happen from his side only, why is the seller will pay? Therefore I am asking.
See,
If any mistake will be happening in LC.
okay, tell me one thing. Just tell me what can be the mistake. Tell me. What can be the mistake?
Suppose some typing error, some bill numbers changes. So
In that case, you
why
have...
he will recover from seller?
No. See, amendment will take place after you accepted the LC.
And seller will accept the LC.
Seller will accept the LC when there is no mistake.
Then no mistake. If
Right.
you find some mistake.
Later.
that is from the
Suppose
buyer
later.
side. Suppose later. And that is from the buyer side.
Okay.
Then why?
Wait. See, once the LC has been accepted by the seller, right?
With no mistake.
With no mistake,
Then no question. So
no question.
Okay.
Suppose later on he realized there is a mistake.
After
Suppose.
accepting.
After accepting.
Yeah, how the acceptance goes?
Acceptance goes like this, that the advising bank advises you the LC. And within 24 hours, some time period is there, you have to give an acceptance letter. Then only LC is valid. Otherwise, LC is not valid.
Who will give acceptance letter?
Seller.
Seller.
Yes.
Okay.
Seller will give the acceptance letter. Once the seller gives acceptance letter, this acceptance letter means at that point there is no mistake from the buyer. There is no mistake.
No. Practically, suppose I open the LC today
Right.
and I am telling the supplier that the goods must be supplied by 31st March.
Okay.
On 20th March, I get a request from the seller that due to some reasons,
Yeah.
it will be issued by 15th April.
Okay. Stale bill of lading.
Yeah, please extend the LC.
Right.
Validity of LC.
Right. So who will pay?
We are paying usually.
You are paying because you are paying because your bargaining power is less.
Otherwise, the bank will not amend the LC.
But see why you are paying, because of a separate contract. It is an understanding between you and the buyer. You are paying.
But seller has no right to change the LC now. Only buyer can change.
That is what I'm saying.
So if we are paying to the bank, we must charge that amount from seller.
Yeah, actually seller should pay. But suppose they do not have a bargaining power with the seller. Seller will say, I need this amendment and also I want that you pay for it. And since the bargaining power is there, you say, okay, I'll pay, no problem. Because you want goods also. You want goods also. No? That is the problem. So it's all business. And this all should reflect in the contract. It cannot be reflected in LC. Actually. That's why UCP 600 says, don't get into all this amendment charges. Just keep it away. Because it is understanding between the buyer and the seller. So bank do not want to get into this hassle. For safety side, if nothing is clear, then he will say that amendment charges will be borne by the seller because it is easy.
The LC issuing bank is want to take the tablet charges from the seller.
Sorry.
Then how that issuing bank will receive the money?
I could not get you. Can you repeat that?
That LC reverse charges is receiving by the issuing bank.
Okay.
And how will obtain this money from seller? If that LC is specially mentioned, that LC amendment charges will be taken from seller. Because
Right.
he cannot deal directly with the issuing
It will
bank.
through advising bank.
So he will pay to advising bank.
Advising bank.
And advising bank will
Yes.
provide this money
Yes.
to
Yes.
this bank.
To issuing bank. Amendment ultimately has to be done by issuing bank only. They will charge for it.
On the instruction of buyer.
Yes. And it is very easy through bank. Because if it is through bank, they have to just say that money has come. That's okay, fine. Settlement will be done, no problem.